So when you talk about genius, or every child being able to become a genius, what does that really mean? Does it mean that we have this innate ability to go beyond our boundaries, to break our boundaries, and to expand our inner space and see that we can become so much more than what we already are? And in the Western world, we're wanting to break the boundaries. We want to create teamwork. We want to create thinking out of the box and reality-based problem solving and an internal locus of control. But how do we create that, and what do we have to build that structure in the individual student?
In Nityananda Vidyalaya, in eNBSE, we follow this right brain education. See, in our Vedic system, in Vedic age, one person was able to learn 250 ships of data, which is like content books which were stored in 250, all the Vedas. And only one person was able to receive this whole thing. How did he manage to do it? The main system of education was teach them through sound waves, through different methodology which our subconscious mind can register. Basically, our mind can register a lot more, and we can use it in much more deeper way, which will be easier for us to produce to the outer world. Like Swami says, if you put a stick in this side and which goes back, and the other stick through the ears, the point which it meets, it's the internet download point, where we can download all the information that is required for our day-to-day living. But what we do is, we have been conditioned into understanding only the left brain, logical, what we see is only what we believe kind of life has started going on. So we forgot there is a dimension that the kids are able to learn spontaneously. See, if I make a map and I know where places are, I can just go there because I made the whole map of that whole area. But what has happened now, the education system, the map is given and repeatedly taught to the kids and told this is how you go. But what we do is, we again take them around the place and show them the place and ask them to draw the map. It's completely different that they build the map and you give the map. So who knows the whole thing? The person, holistic education they say now, but nobody follows, because the holistic means using your right and left side of the brain. And the whole thing is, we given the ingredient for them to expand, ingredient for them to have a beautiful world. So if they have the ingredient, they can place it in the way they want. Each one is unique and each one can create the dimension that is required. So we give the dimensions that they have to build, and we keep giving them ideas and views in a different perspective and visualization and all these tools and all the dimension that they can expand into. By giving them all these ingredients and the tools, they can build the structure in the way they want, bringing in the whole dimension. Swami says the sense, our senses can do lot more stuff. The eyes can breathe. Our tongue can actually taste the tune, what we can hear actually through ears. So these are the possibility that we teach the child right from the young age. We go on teaching all these visualization method, where we talk about the after image, that in morning the kids will play looking at the sun and there will be orange spots. But we take it much more deeper and teach them how to observe things, photographic memory. If they can learn the book just by looking at the paragraph instead of going through the words, they can remember it forever. These are methods which were there in Vedic system, where they can just scan the books and just learn it. But what has happened is, all these has gone and the big picture of learning has gone, and they teach phonetically and word wise, where we bring them to come to a point where they need to see only one letter at a time. So what happens, the eye vision is actually shrunk into seeing only 2-3 words at a time. Instead of eye vision, actually can read a paragraph and understand as paragraph. Once we enter into a room, we are able to see the things. We don't go point to each item in the room and tell, I have understood this room. once we enter the room, we know what are the things available. Like that, once we look at the page, we need to know what is available in the page. But what has happened, that idea of looking at the word is being drilled into us. So we logically read. When you logically read to your mind, you can only logically remember that. But when you go for a visual reading, you can visually remember and recite it any time of the day. So we have methods like this, many methods like this, where we teach to the subconscious mind, which is the right brain, which they can download at any spot. They can, if they want the information, they go for their map, which they have set up, and pull out the data. In this case, they go for the mind, which is half forgotten by 20 days and full forgotten by 3 months. And when they go to the next year, it's like a new subject. In this case, we should not be in new subject. You should have some idea about this. But what happens? They have a total relearning of from scratch. So the complete picture is lost. This is what happens in regular education and the right brain education. So right brain education, we have nothing called slow learner. In our school, there is no slow learner. Everybody performs the best because everybody is a genius, and these are small things for them to learn. Actually, each one should be in dimensionally exploding, but these are small things that we are trying to teach, and in that we are comparing, have a competition exam, and we are suppressing them to the core that they should not perform, and have tuition, have computer activities and games and things like that for them to enhance what actually naturally available for them to learn. So just selling other products, we are suppressing and putting them to a tuition world. But actually, if you teach them the way it should be taught through the right brain education, they'll be exploding. They can give these computer game people ideas to create more games. This is what will happen.
It is really important that we cultivate the genius in all individuals and in all students, and we do that through both the right brain and the left brain, through bringing the attention to the inner space so that we gain a full knowledge of who we are based on the inside out instead of the outside in, that we see our future as a nurture and something that's fresh and alive and recreates our mind and our body. It's amazing. I think I'm going to come to your school and start from kindergarten and see if I can become more enlightened as a result. Hopefully it's not too late for me yet.
Yeah, regarding the people who have learned all these skills are called indigo kids, crystal kids, rainbow kids, who are actually in nature coming out to the world to show that these possibilities exist. You can even Google, there's a blind boy who can really hear like dolphins, and he can even find objects next to him. Okay, this blind boy who has been able to judge anything. He can do skating, surfing, he can do anything in the world. And he says this is a possibility because I can see through my ears. Because the whole point is, he says, if dolphins can do, I can do. When he was small, about 2 years, he had some problem with his eyes, and the doctor removed his eyes. And that time he came home, he said, Mama, I'm not able to see. Mom said, you have ears, nose, mouth, cheeks, you can see. So he really believed that his possibilities are there, where the mom was confident, and that confidence went into him and he was able to see. And this is a living example. If he can do, we can also do it. There is so many painters that you can see in YouTube where they can paint with their fingers. They can do 3-dimension color painting with their fingers because they believe that they can do beyond. The belief is our perception. We believe this is our limit. We've been conditioned to believe this is our limit. We've been again and again told this is our limit. But in first 6 years, when the right brain is usually open for a city kid, usually in village it goes up to even 10 to 14 years. That's what Swamiji says. But usually city at least 6 years, we can give this concept of possibility that you can see. You can see through your ears. You can smell through your eyes. It's completely possible. We have 5 senses. For all 5 senses can do 4 other sense activity. That's what Swamiji says. So really there are so many people who are doing it. then the possibility in kids should be encouraged right from the age where the possibilities are already there. So they can start expressing these possibilities and transforming themselves. The other day, one of the 6-year-old was telling Swamiji, I will, for sitting for Guru Puja, I will transform myself to do the Guru Puja much better. The words transforming coming from a 6-year-old is amazing, because their understanding is going much deeper, that there is a possibility. If we give that possibility to the children, they will be so amazingly come out. That's what is happening with these Indigo kids, and we should encourage more kids to play with them and encourage the dimension which exists in them, which we have not been taught, and we suppressing that part is going to be a dangerous thing. So making them understand there's a possibility will expand the dimension and solve all the problem, because everybody is a genius. No topper exists in this world, because toppers based on competition. We are talking genius, which is uniquely present in everybody. The innate nature of a child is genius. The genie is already in us. So we are genius. So we have to just bring out in the kids the same thing.
So after many years of education in the West and going to 400 football games and doing 1,688 teacher evaluations and breaking up probably about 800 fights over the past few years, it's amazing to see how this educational system is born of freedom and of consciousness and of life and of creativity. So if you would like to know more about Nithyananda Vidyalaya, please look at what's on your screen. You can write on this website down and write down this information. It's a wonderful program. It's a program every child, every adult, every human being on the planet Earth should experience, because it gives you the opportunity to be the person you really are, which is perfectly free, to be happy, to be a bliss bag, to have a Vedic mind and a yogic body. So thank you for joining us, and it's been a lot of fun to see the difference between two worlds of education.